Welcome to Room 9, the region's largest classroom. I am Mrs. Wright, and I teach at Monroe Elementary in St. Charles. Today, I will be teaching a reading lesson meant for second graders, but as always, everyone is welcome to learn with us. So, I hope everyone is doing super amazing. I know that I am. I am really excited to get back to school, but I'm also really excited to be here teaching in Room 9 again. So I want to know what your most favorite part of summer has been so far. And maybe you won't be able to tell me face to face. Maybe there's someone else in the room that you could tell. And if you're already back to school and you're like, summer, what's that? Then I want to know what your best part of the new school year has been so far. Whether you are in person doing classes, or maybe you are doing it virtually. You're at home and learning from home. So your either best part of summer or what you have enjoyed about school so far. I want you to think about that. I can think of something. And then I want you to find someone to share that with. If there's no one that you can share it with, you can just say it out loud to me and I'm gonna listen. Molly, let's see if Molly will come out. Molly, come here. Come here. Come here. Molly's gonna be my listener today. Hopefully this, ooh, that screeching noise. Let's say hi. Say hi. Come say hi. Hi. Say hello. Oh, hold on. My favorite part of summer was teaching, oh, please hang on. Yep, teaching this big teddy bear how to swim in the lake, right? She is a little bit of a scaredy cat and she is not a water puppy. So she basically wanted us, hey, hold on, can't we finish? Come here, we're almost done. Come say hi. I don't know how many more episodes you're gonna be able to star in if you can't cooperate. Anywho, she would want us to basically hold her. Okay, she's over it. She just wants to stand. That's fine. They can't see you though. They're all the way up here. She basically would want us to hold her while she was in the water, which was really silly because as you can see, she's giant. She's a big dog. But my favorite part of, what is my favorite part, Molly? My favorite part, what do you think? Oh, my favorite part of being back in school or back to work is seeing the amazing teachers that I work with and knowing that we get to see our students really, really, really soon. Actually, by the time you watch this, we've probably seen you. So we're like jumping for joy because we missed you. So yeah, I can't wait to hear what you have been excited about. So if there was no one home to tell, go ahead and tell me. I'm a great listener. Oh, Molly, did you hear that? Yeah. So it sounds like everyone had great summers, great starts to the school year, and let's go ahead and get started today. So as always, I'm gonna ask you to find a spot that's good for both your brain and your body so that we can get started learning. Remember, a spot that's good for your brain allows you to focus. I'm in a spot right now that is away from my husband, Billy. He's upstairs. Molly's the only one down here with me because she apparently likes to be on TV. So she comes down, and my spot that's good for my body, actually this is kind of weird. I just adjusted. Normally when I sit here, I sit with like my back like up against the chair. I'm kind of sitting on the edge of the chair today, which is making me sit up a little more straight. So it's kind of nice. So find that brain and body spot, and then as always, grab something to write on and something to write with. I have my pink permanent marker again. And also today I have water because I'm feeling a little parched. Parched means like your mouth is a little dry, you're super thirsty. So anyways, we are going to get started today. We are not going to read a whole entire book today, but today I am going to teach you about my favorite thing about reading. And I like to read fiction, mostly, okay? I enjoy reading nonfiction. Some people love to read nonfiction. I like reading nonfiction, but I have to work harder to comprehend and focus when I read nonfiction. So when I read fiction, I can read it pretty quickly and I understand what's going on. And I think the reason that I love to read about fiction so much is because of the characters. I get to meet so many characters while I'm reading, and sometimes the characters are just like me and I can relate to their experiences or to whatever is happening in the story, but sometimes the characters are nothing like me. They might not look like me. They might not have the same job as me. They might have different experiences than me. And I really enjoy getting to know those characters because I usually always learn something from them. So no matter if you are in 2nd grade or you are almost 30 like me, almost 30. Tell me I look 22. No? 30? Okay, it's fine. I forgive you. If I am reading, I can learn from the characters. And there is a special way of doing this that I wanted to teach you about because you might not realize that you're doing it, but it's super important to do this all the time. And the way that you can meet your characters is very similar to the way that you can meet people or the way that you might interact with something that you're studying. So we're gonna talk about that word studying for a second. Okay, I have a prop and I'll show them to you. Oh, hopefully I don't drop them because otherwise that would be very sad. Look how pretty these are. These are, now hopefully I don't spill the water, kind of high. These are flowers from Billy or Mr. Wright, whatever I call him on here, I don't even remember. He brought these home for me one day and we're gonna do something that you might not notice that you do. So I'm not gonna talk for the next 30 seconds to a minute, and I'm gonna try really hard because sometimes I don't even pay attention to the time. And here's what I want you to do. You're just gonna watch, okay? You're just gonna watch me and notice what I do, okay? Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, action! Smell good. What is this thing on there? Let me see if I can get it off. So, did you pay attention to what I was doing? I want you to tell me some of the things that you noticed that I did. Take that out. What are some of the things you noticed that I did? I was doing something in particular with this yellow sunflower, right? Yeah, I was smelling them. I was kind of rearranging them. I checked their water level. Lots of smelling them because they smelled so good. I did spend a lot of time with this flower, and I bent it before this came off, and then I bent it afterwards. And I learned that this is on here because these sunflowers, look, there's still another one on there. These sunflowers are really heavy and they have really strong stems and they lean towards the sunflower, right? So they're on there to help hold up the sunflower. I'm gonna put these down. So what you were watching me do was study. I was studying something. This happened to be flowers. I was studying how the flower was being held up, if it had enough water, how the flowers were arranged in there to make it look prettier. I was studying, I was noticing, and then actually you were studying me. So you were studying me while I was studying the flowers. And what I learned from studying the flowers is that sunflowers require, or maybe not require, but maybe it's more helpful if they have something to help them kind of stand up. And that was able to be removed as well. So what I'm trying to get at is that just like we study people, we study things, and we learn from them, we should also study our characters and our books. So today we're going to talk about this big important thing. We can learn about our characters by studying, okay? By studying, I gotta grab my tape. Exactly what I just did. You watched my actions, you listened to my words. I didn't really talk about my feelings, but if I would have, you could have studied that as well. So we can do those same things with the characters in our books. And what's even better about the books is we can go back and learn and study as much as we need to, okay? So one way that we can study our characters is by studying their actions, the things that they do. So I'm gonna take this book for example. Carter reads the newspaper. The very first thing I see on this book and I read in the title is an action, right? He's reading the newspaper. So right away, I know something about Carter. I've studied this character just from looking at the title and the picture, and I know that Carter is someone who can read a newspaper. I can tell by Carter's feelings, the look on his face. He looks happy. That Carter is someone who enjoys reading the newspaper, right? So that would be actually their actions and their feelings. So we can learn about characters by studying their actions and by studying their feelings. And I haven't even started reading this book yet, and I learned all these things about Carter already. Pretty cool. Look at this character right here. I don't know his name yet, but it says, a storm called Katrina. This character, well look, this is someone, he's doing an action, he's playing an instrument. So I already know before I start reading this book, I've studied it, that this little boy, he can play an instrument. Pretty cool. We can also learn about our characters by studying their words, the things that they say. So 3 important things that we can already do right away. We can study our characters by their actions. Yes, say it, you say it. By their actions. Let's add some emotions, why not? By their feelings and their words. Nice job. Let's try it all together. So we can learn about our characters by studying, maybe this is studying, like looking. Yeah. Their actions, their feelings, nice, and their words. Nice job. Good job, friends. These are so important, and you will learn so much about your characters just by studying these 3 things. All right, we are going to study about the actions, feelings, and words by reading A Storm Called Katrina. We're just going to read a part of it. Hurricane's coming, baby, Mama said. I'm not a baby anymore, Mama. I turned 10 last month. Doesn't matter how old you are, Louis Daniel. You'll always be my baby, she said. Hush now and go to bed. The wind rattled my windows something fierce. When the storm howled louder, I covered my ears and hid them under the blanket. I hugged my brass cornet close to my chest, and I always feel better having it nearby. Someday I want to play it just like Louis Daniel Armstrong, the greatest horn player ever. So far, I know from this character's words and actions and feelings that he feels like a grown-up. He said, I'm not a baby anymore, Mama, right? And I also know that his mama is protective because she said back, it doesn't matter how old you are, you'll always be my baby. So, just from reading that small part in the book, we already know something about our character. We watch their actions, their feelings, and their words, and we learn something about them. That's what you should be doing while you're reading all of the time, okay? Now, another thing we can learn about from our characters, another thing we can learn about when we're studying, OMG, we can learn about our characters by studying the way they react to problems and how they interact with other characters. So what that means is this: the way that they react to a problem, and really it's anything that happens. So let me give you an example. I am a little bit, okay, so let's pretend that there was a spider on the floor. I would run and scream and yell. What would that tell you about me? How am I reacting to a problem? Yeah, you're right. I'm a little dramatic, right? A tiny little spider is not that big of a deal, but if I have a big over-the-top reaction, that might tell you that I'm a little bit dramatic, right? How they interact with other characters. So, how I interact with Molly. Molly, do you want to come here? Nope, she's sleeping. But at the beginning of this episode, when she was laying her chest on me, she was hugging me, I was interacting with her in a nice way. So that tells you I'm someone who loves dogs, right? I love my dog. I love all dogs, really, and I treat her well. So you can learn a lot from your characters just by seeing how they react to problems and how they interact with other characters. Now, we're going to continue reading just a little bit more. Let's see, I might have to move this up. we're going to continue reading, like I said, just a little bit more and see if we can find out, whoopsies, I'm gonna put this over here. If we can learn any more about Lewis by studying how he reacts to problems and how he interacts with other characters. And actually, we've already seen him interact with another character. I'm a little bit of a mess today, guys. And he interacted with his mom. And look at the way that they are acting, right? They look like they love each other. She's kind of holding him like, look at me, right? And he doesn't seem mad or upset with her. And he doesn't get sassy with her. So you can tell that he respects and loves his mama by the way that he interacted with her. All right, let's read just a little bit more. In the morning, I saw that the storm had blown down our big oak tree with the tire swing. Mama's elephant ear plants were beaten to the ground. Will you look at that rain, Daddy said. Those drops were bigger than quarters. The wind slammed them sideways against the window. Daddy pulled me away from the glass. The whole house shook. Don't you worry now, Mama said. After some huffing and puffing, Katrina will blow away and land up the coast, just like all those other hurricanes. But I couldn't stop worrying. I'm going to show you the pictures. Okay, so I want you to think about these things. What can we learn about our characters from this page, from their actions, their feelings, their words, how they react to problems, and how they interact with others? Yeah, right? I agree. So I also think that you can tell that this whole family cares about each other. And it even says in here, but I couldn't stop worrying. So I wonder if he worries all the time or if he's just worrying because of the hurricane. Okay, let's keep reading. Finally, the rain stopped and everything got real quiet. Daddy opened the door. Water's rising fast, he said. We've got to get out of here. Let me run and get a few things first, Mama said. Daddy shook his head. There's no time. It's already up to our front stoop. I grabbed my horn from the coffee table. No way was I going to leave it behind. That's an action that you should be paying attention to. So what does that action tell you about him? Yeah, that music, his instruments, are important to him. In the interaction I see here between Mom and Dad, he's protecting the family, and Mom wanted to get some things that they might need, so she's also protective and caring of the family. This book didn't tell us any of this stuff. We're just learning these things by studying our characters. Outside, the world had turned upside down. Our whole block was filling up with water. Levees broke, a man behind us shouted. Everybody head south. I held on to Mama and my horn as tight as I could. I agree. I know some of you are probably thinking, well, if the neighbors are out there, they must all care about each other. Must be a safe community because they're watching out for each other. The water rose so high that we had trouble walking. Daddy grabbed a piece of someone's porch that was floating by and lifted me up onto it. I was glad because I was afraid we might run into a gator. I kept a sharp watch just in case. Mama climbed up beside me and held me in her arms. Everything's going to be fine, baby, she said. I almost didn't mind her calling me baby just then. What do you know? Yep, I totally agree, right? He is feeling scared, and when he's feeling scared, he doesn't mind that maybe his mom and dad are treating him a little bit like a baby and not so much like a grown-up, right? So, friends, we're going to stop here for today, and I am so impressed with all the hard work that you did. And actually, this is just a little introduction into characters because of how much I love characters. This is what I wanted to do this week. But next week, the whole week is going to be studying these things in our characters, and I think you're going to love it. So I can't wait to see you next week. Thanks for tuning in today, and I will see you soon. Bye. These books are being used with the permission from Peachtree Publishing Company, Incorporated.
Teaching in Room 9 is made possible with support of Bank of America, Dana Brown Charitable Trust, Emerson, and viewers like you.